Goedemorgen. Hi, good morning. I'm here with Raw Colors in Eindhoven. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Sunday morning, early start.
Yeah. And so the design week opened yesterday. Was it a good day?
Yes, it was a good day. It was a good start. So let's see what brings today.
What do you expect from a design week like this one in Eindhoven?
I mean, for us, it's always really been an important moment for the studio because you can show your own interests. We can basically formulate our own questions, set up a presentation in the way we want it, and especially now, since 2 years, we present in our own studio space, which is even nicer because you have it set up in the way you desire. Yeah. So it's a good moment to show yourself.
What's it like working in Eindhoven?
Yeah, so now we do it already for 15 years. This year, now the studio exists 15 years, but it's a very good place to be for designers, also for young designers. Yeah. But no, we are not young anymore, so
of course you are.
It's 15 years later, but still, it's a good vibe. Yeah. So that's.
Why not Amsterdam? I mean.
No, yeah, well, Amsterdam is super expensive. That's already. I mean, I must say Eindhoven is also not so cheap anymore. But when we graduated 15 years ago, there was a group of people staying, and together we also did the Dutch Virtuals, so that's another group, and we generated new exhibitions together, so there was a really good, we helped each other out, and that's a bit of a different mentality also than in Amsterdam, yeah.
So in that sense, yeah, it's also been like a startup as a city, as a creative startup, like we all kind of started at the same level and trying to do things. Of course, you had some predecessors like Piet and Eek and those guys and do it much bigger, and they were earlier, but that's been really nice. And yeah, you also see so many things starting up now if you look at Sexy C or the recent graduates. So there's a good energy and good possibilities in the city.
And also people go, it's not...
Sorry, I forgot to give you the microphone.
Also people come and go, so I mean in the end we will stay because we have a beautiful place and we really enjoy it here, but it's not that all graduates of the Design Academy stay. There are also many people leave the city again.
But do you have like producing companies as well here?
Yeah, everywhere around Eindhoven, I mean the couch is not, this is Sankal, so it's something else, but there's a lot of production around Eindhoven, that's really great,
So, what's Raw Color all about? I guess it's about color, I guess.
Well, not always, but no, of course you're right. It's the core of the studio, and I think for us it's a great medium because it's the visual binding agent that keeps all the things together. From our work, the studio is as interdisciplinary as it can get, so we work from graphic design to products, to textiles, to installations, and color allows us to really have this recognizable visual language. Yeah.
Do you think, I mean, we're right now going through lots of like in all over the world about colors. Everything's about colors. There are very few new shapes, I would say. You don't have to agree if you don't want to. There are very few new shapes, but there's like a lot of focus on colors. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, of course we see it. It's not that we do it because of that, because it's something we already do for many years. So it's, but I think it's positive. I mean, it's also we can use some color nowadays. That it's not all happy in the world. So then at least color can help you to feel better or to make a nice comfort in your house or space where you are in. Yeah.
So where do you start when you work with a brand? I mean, now you're sitting in a sofa by Sankal, but you're also working with like Quadrat, and you're working with lots of different brands. Where do you start that color journey?
Where do we start?
Yeah. You sort of like, oh, where's your DNA? Blah blah blah.
It also depends. It depends on the project. So, for example, there are a few couches here that also have the Quadrat fabric textile plenum, and there we started with painting swatches and combining them with small printed objects or like lids or color lids. So that's one way, but it also depends, of course, on the question. But sometimes it's very hands-on. Sometimes it's more, getting the color swatches like Pantone or NCS, and finding the right matches. And often color stands out because it really depends what you put next to it. So it's important which tones or shades you place together.
Yeah, and also what you say now when you refer to the painted swatches, I think that's what we also try to do, that the journey is always a discovery, so that we not always start from the same starting point. You know, that one was painting, I mean, the curtains that we see here in the exhibition that started in our very first project when we did this plant-based dye research. So then we've been really dyeing by ourselves and mixing beetroot with red cabbage. Yeah. So it was also very hands-on, but yeah, as Nir said, sometimes it's also just Pantone swatches. So we really try to always find something that surprises us also. Yeah. And I think that is the secret ingredient, to have something surprising as an outcome of something less expected.
15 years with colors, you must have seen this evolution as well, this color revolution we talked about before we turned the camera on. You must have seen this evolve immensely as well. Can one have too much color?
I would say no. Yeah. Just I think it also defines a person. If someone likes to wear one color, it's also beautiful, and there are many shades. So if you say it's yellow, and I have now these reds or pinks on, but there you can have so many different shades that are super beautiful together. So I think everyone should choose for themselves what fits the person. I mean, we enjoy wearing color and we enjoy being in color. But there are also people who love white, but there are also many whites or blacks, or so there. Yeah, it's. I think it's very personal also.
Do you believe in color psychology? Do you know what I mean? I have a friend in Sweden, not Teklan. We're going to talk about Teklan later, but I mean, they have a friend who's working with color psychology. Is that also something you believe in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think also that's been a question we got more and more often in the last years, especially during the pandemic. We gave several online talks for Quadrat, and then there was a really big demand on, can you tell us about color psychology? So I mean, of course, we are not scientists and psychologists either, so you read about it, and for example, if I look at the red curtain, we don't see it, but it's opposite behind the camera. There's been this scientific research which I found really fascinating, that they say apparently they can measure that your pulse and heartbeat goes up when you look at the color red. Mm-hmm. And to me, that sounds very logical, because it's just a biological and evolutionary function. You know, if you see somebody with blood or fire, it's red, and you need to get in action. So to me, yeah, of course it happens when you look at red. So I really believe that there are things that color psychology can control or come out of it, yeah.
Do you believe in color trends? That's a difficult question. Do you know where I'm going with that question?
Yeah. No, of course, we follow trends. We know what the trends are, and it's also something that is part of our job, doing CMF, color material and finishes for the different companies, which is super interesting. And we always get excited about those projects and see what's going on. But looking at our own work, it's not that it should be the trend or the. Of course, we pick up things, and we also like lilac, where we sit on now, because there's everywhere lilac. But yeah, you also have your own favorites that stay. So it's not there. We use many colors already for a longer time. So
and what is your favorite?
Yeah, well, you cannot see the curtain, but I really love the pink curtain on the right. And yeah, I think pink is one of, but also soft pink, and not this hard what I have on.
I'm going to turn the camera. We'll see if we can do that. See how that goes, and see if the audience can see the soft pink. Oh, look at that! Gorgeous. That's a gorgeous soft pink. It's a very powdery pink. And do you have a favorite color?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I'm also always intrigued by this ochre yellow. Maybe it's a little bit lighter than it's the plant pot over there probably. So also that, yeah, exactly. But yeah, but I mean, it's also the combinations. You know, if you have this kind of orangey, burnt orange with the blue, I think that's a nice combination. But yeah, it also depends. And I think also there, I mean, trend is one thing, but it's also seeing the context of your project. Who's your client, and what are their needs? So sometimes it can also be a very sophisticated palette of gray, colorful grays that we do for clients. So it not always needs to be super highly saturated and very color blocky. So that depends on the context and the client.
Time is running. We're up to 10 minutes. We have 5 more minutes. There are like tons of questions I want to ask you about how you work, how you define colors, etc. But we'll see if we get there. I want to talk about Teklan, because you're now sitting on the sofa by Sankal, that you designed for Sankal, and you were also showing this at the Milan fair with Swedish Teklan. And how was that? You didn't meet her, you said.
No. Due to a circumstance, we couldn't manage to go to Milan, so that was a shame. but I mean, we followed it online and through social media, and I mean, she did a fantastic job making these great settings, and all the pieces looked even more beautiful through that. And I mean, it was just so photogenic. It was a pleasure for the eye to see it.
I think my next question should be: is this Dutch design?
Dutch design. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm Dutch. He's even German, you know. So what's Dutch design? But and then we work with Spanish companies. So yeah, I mean, Dutch design is just in general name. I would not say that we are Dutch design. No.
But can you talk? Can you talk?
There is a way of thinking. We always like to work very pure or simple. Try to go to the essence, and I think maybe that could be something that's maybe more typical Dutch.
Is it relevant to talk about nationalistic design?
No, not necessarily. As Nira said, I came here from Germany almost 20 years ago to study at Design Academy. So that's also the question. I mean, apart from design, if I just look at myself, who am I? You know, I'm born German. I have a German passport, but I come to the point that I live half of my life in the Netherlands. So I'm not German and I'm not Dutch either. I'm kind of in betweener, you know, and I think that counts for many things in life. And I mean, that's also the whole general discussion about diversity, fluidity, and that comes on so many levels. You know, I think we have this tendency as humans that we like to put things in a drawer and say, oh, that's about this, or you're a photographer, or you are female, you are male, whatever. But maybe that reflects maybe also the development of design. I don't know if we need to still talk about if it's Dutch or German design, or Swedish or European or whatever.
I think the biggest thing of the Dutch is that there is of course a big design path, and that's something. There's a big highway, and there we are running. Of course, for us that's also positive. There are many good educations, the awareness of that there is the design, that's a job and something you can do. I think that's something that's very far in the Netherlands. So in that sense, that maybe would represent mostly the Dutch thing. Yeah.
Time is running up. 3 more minutes. What's your next project after Sankan?
Good question. Yeah, there.
What secrets can you reveal?
We can't tell, but there are already plans.
Another Swedish secret that we will not share.
There are some plans for Dutch Design Week next year already, but yeah, we cannot say too much about it. And I mean, for the rest, there are always plans and things cooking already for Dutch Design Week in 2 years. What we could do. So, but I mean. Besides that, we also present a new light that we have developed in Leerdam at the glass blowing museum. So yeah, we always we like to be busy and do new things.
I have 2 more questions, then time is up really. So I think also the audience wants to know, because it's time of the year when you start planning for like next year, I mean everything. So what color should one invest in? You can have 2 colors, one each if you want to. What color should you invest in for 2023?
Maybe green still. I still love the greens, but it's depending also on what. Is it interior? Is it fashion? But
green is a good answer. Yeah, thank you. And you, Christoph?
Well, I keep it on the yellow, so I think we need some positivity and some dynamic and energy, good energy. Yeah, so I would stick to the yellow. Okay.
With terracotta feel to it, or the mustardy feel, or brighter yellow.
Yeah, maybe a very subtle one also. That I think. That
like my shirt.
You're running up front. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so the last question is, because we need to give you people sort of like a perspective of who you are, and this is going to be a very easy question, so don't freak out. What kind of desserts do you like?
Dessert.
Yeah, because that would give people like, or she likes ice cream, or she likes cake, or.
Yeah. Well, I like stracciatella ice cream. Maybe that's something.
Okay.
I have nut allergy, so many nuts I cannot eat. So no nuts. So desserts are difficult. Yeah.
I'm just thinking. Yeah. What kind of
tiramisu? No.
Yeah, that's it. But it's something we hardly ever eat.
He's in Milan.
If we go to Italy,
tiramisu.
Yeah. So that's a good one. Let's go for tiramisu then. Yeah.
So if I would come to dinner to your house and would have a lovely meal, and then we're going to end off this meal, and you're going to impress me with the dessert, what would you make?
Yeah.
Ooh, hard one.
Maybe something. We often do this kind of nice ice cream with some, strawberry, berry things.
Yeah, some cookies on top.
Whipped cream and stuff. Yeah,
crunchy,
the whipped creamy stuff is also. Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
a
without-
bit
without
sour, a bit
nuts.
sour,
Yeah.
a bit fatty, a bit fruity. I think that's, and with a little bit of crunch, that goes good together.